screener for Regis student at the Nord Anglia Education Head Office located in Hong Kong. Today I will be interviewing the CEO of Nord Anglia Education, Mr. Andrew Fitzmaurice. I would like to thank everyone here at the education and leadership teams for welcoming me and being so generous with their time. I hope you all enjoy watching this interview. So firstly, I would like to thank you, Mr. Fitzmaurice, for taking the time to interview with Regis student today. As the CEO of Nord Anglia Education, I know that your time is valuable, and the fact that you are taking time from your day to meet with one of your students from halfway across the globe says a lot about Nord Anglia Education and how much you care about your schools and students. So I have a few questions I would like to ask you. Mr. Fitzmaurice, can you tell me a little about yourself and your role at Nord Anglia Education?
So I've been the Chief Executive at Nord Anglia Education for 12 and a half years now. I joined back in August 2003, and it was a very different organisation then. 2003, the organisation had a number of different parts to it, including providing educational services to governments, providing nurseries in the UK, which are kindergartens, for children under the age of 4, and schools, international schools. And it's really over the course of the last 12 or 13 years that we have grown the number of schools that we have from 6 up to, including the Meritas schools, there'll be 41 schools in Nord Anglia Education. So they're all over the world. They're in 15 different countries, and I like to spend my time visiting as many of those schools as I can and meeting the parents and the staff and the students in the schools, and really learning what's happening in each of our schools and seeing what we can do to help every student, every parent, and every one of the staff, teachers and other staff in the schools, to benefit from being part of a larger organisation. So our mission in Nord Anglia Education is that we want you, as part of the family of schools, to do better than you would have done if you were just in a school by yourselves.
How old is Nord Anglia? How did it begin, and how did Nord Anglia Education come to being located in Hong Kong?
So Nord Anglia Education was founded in 1972 by a teacher whose name was Kevin McNeely. His name Kevin McNeely, still is named Kevin McNeely. And Kevin founded the organisation back then as an organisation which teaches English as a foreign language. So that was the start. Started in Manchester, and the organisation was located in Manchester in England, north of England, for many years. And then as the schools grew, we were actually located at the time that we came out to Hong Kong, we were located in Burton-on-Trent, which is in the Midlands, in England, in the Midlands. And so, we needed to really relocate to one of the more regional hub type locations in the world, whether that was London or New York or Hong Kong, Dubai. And at the time, we had a lot of our schools were in Asia. We had schools in China. We didn't have any schools in the UK. We still don't have any schools in the UK. And we just felt, of all the choices, that Hong Kong was the best.
A lot of students are wondering if the name Nord Anglia means anything. Does it?
It does. So when Kevin McNeely founded the organisation back in 1972, he wanted a name for the organisation which meant a number of things. So he wanted something which was English, so Anglia is another word for England. Education, clearly, because we were in education. And Nord, because we were actually located in Manchester, which was the north of England. So it's North of England Education.
Including the Meritas Schools acquisition, how many Nord Anglia schools will there be in total?
So once we have joined together with the Meritas family of schools, there'll be 41 schools across the world. There'll be over 32,000 students, and we will have around about 6,000 people who work for Nord Anglia Education.
Wow. Can you tell us about the partnership that was recently announced between Nord Anglia and the Juilliard School, and how that can benefit us as Nord Anglia students?
Yes, we were really excited and so pleased to announce the partnership with Juilliard, and it really goes back to what I was saying earlier about our mission is to make sure that if you are a member of the Nord Anglia Education family of schools, that you do better than you would if you were outside of that family. That's our job as Nord Anglia Education, and clearly as part of that, to be able to enter into a partnership with Juilliard School, the world's leading performing arts conservatory, and to actually work with the staff at Juilliard to develop a specific curriculum in the performing arts which will benefit all of the schools in the Nord Anglia Education family and give our students access not just to that curriculum but also to Juilliard alumni, either through individual lessons or through summer schools. And the other thing that we're doing in association with all of that is that we've created something which we've launched this summer called the Global Orchestra, which means that students from each of our schools around the world are going to come to New York during this summer, perform in a global orchestra in New York, visit Juilliard, practice and get some lessons while they're there at Juilliard School, and just really benefit from the partnership. So there's lots of ways that we think that our students in every one of the schools around the world are going to be able to benefit from Juilliard, and we are looking to do more partnerships. Other organisations, not in performing arts, clearly we've got the partnership with Juilliard, but that benefit other parts of the curriculum.
That's really amazing. Do you offer any student exchange opportunities for Nord Anglia students to take a semester or even a year at another Nord Anglia school?
That's a very interesting idea, which we've discussed previously. We don't have anything where you spend a semester at another Nord Anglia Education school, but we do have a number of things which we call as part of our global campus, where students from all of the different Nord Anglia schools around the world come together for different trips and different events and different experiences. So I talked about the Global Orchestra being one. Another thing that we do is every year we have around about 700 students go to our dedicated facility in Tanzania, and along with other students from schools in all of the other Nord Anglia Education family of schools. So a number of students from each school go, they spend time in Tanzania, they work in some local schools, work with the local community. We sponsor orphanages and local day schools there in Tanzania, in the local area. And then while they're there, they also get an opportunity to go to Zanzibar to learn directly about the spice trade and the slave trade, which was based in Zanzibar, and also get the opportunity to go on safari and spend a couple of days doing that. So it's a dedicated facility purely for Nord Anglia Education students, and we think it's something that, again, we're able to offer because we're a family of schools, and perhaps wouldn't be available if a school was just a standalone.
Since Reach a Student is all about gaining insight for our students, can you think of a few tips that you think can help our students one day become CEOs of the future?
Well, I think that CEO's role is something that you find that you go into as you progress through your career. I don't think it's something so much that you set out on the beginning of your career and think, I want to be a CEO, because it's such a broad range of different organizations and different fields that you can go into and be the CEO of, that I don't know if there's anything specific I would say. But what I would say is that I know that many of the students in our schools are going to be the leaders of the future. Whether that is leading as a CEO of an organization or in many other fields that they will enter, that many of our students are going to go into leadership positions. And I think that the thing for me which is really important when I think about leadership is to try and live the values that you're trying to instill in the organization yourself. And that's little things and big things, but really I think a successful organization and to be a successful leader, it's more about the values, so that people see that you believe and that you follow what you're saying, rather than saying this is how the organization should be, but then the behaviors in the organization or what the organization actually does, aren't in keeping with what you've said the values of the organization are. So I would say as a leader of the future, which I really expect many of our students to achieve in the future, I would say the important thing to think about is what are your values, and to try and live by them.
So did you always think that you would one day be the CEO of a large company?
I really never did think that I was going to be the CEO of a large organization. I think, like most people's careers, it tends to be a series of fortuitous events. You don't know what opportunities are going to come your way. I think a successful career, though, is built around making sure that when opportunity does present itself, that you make the most of it. And I'd certainly say that my advice to anyone would be that when you see a good opportunity, take it and make sure you make the most of it, because you never know when the next one will come along. But certainly for me, being given the opportunity back in 2003 to lead an organisation like Nord Anglia Education was, fantastic, and one that I was fortunate enough to take.
What, in your opinion, are qualities students should have that you think will help them transition better into a career as a corporate executive?
I think that the sort of qualities that I see our staff in all of the schools talk about are the things which prepare you best for your life in whatever career path you decide to take, whether you move into the corporate world or any other of the things that are available to people for their careers. But I think it's about being hardworking, being honest, straightforward, being inclusive, thinking about the world, and I think that I really do love what I see when I go to the schools and I see how focused our students are about thinking about what kind of a world they're going into and what kind of world they want to turn it into. I think that the thinking about what sort of environment we're going to inherit and what kind of environment future generations are going to inherit, I think all of those things that I see going on at our schools are really important. And so what I see at the schools, I think, is preparing people really well for the future, and I've certainly been delighted to see it.
Thinking back to when you were a student in school, is there a story that you can share that you think might inspire or be of interest to our students?
Yes, I think one of the philosophies in Nord Anglia Education, which is really important, is that we don't believe there is any limit on what any student can achieve. So we think it's very wrong to test someone at a certain age and say that you're going to achieve X amount, or you're going to be a candidate for Ivy League or not a candidate for Ivy League based on some test that you sit at the age of 4 or 11 or 13 or whenever it is. So I remember being tested at the age of 12, and I'd changed schools. I used to go to school in Canada, and I'd been moved to a school in England, in the north of London, a place called Edgware. And then I subsequently got moved to another school in Kent. So in the course of about 18 months, I'd been doing 3 different curriculums, and learning the same sort of subjects, but in 3 different ways. And one subject in particular that I struggled with was French. And because I'd done poorly at French, and in the first year of senior school, and a number of other students had done poorly at French, is that we were told that we couldn't do, along with all the other students, we couldn't do either Latin or German, which were the options available to them. We were told that we had to do remedial English. Now that seemed particularly strange to me. I wouldn't have minded if they'd forced us to do remedial French, seeing as that is what we hadn't been particularly good at. But anyways, it was decided that we were going to have to do remedial English. I think the problem with that was that a lot of the people that were put into remedial English almost had a stigma attached to them academically, in that it was thought that they would never achieve. And that was something that many of the students, including myself actually in the school, took some time to shake off. And really it was only when we got into, well, for me, when I got into year 11 and 12 and started to get much better results, that I was finally able to shake off that stigma of not being particularly good academically, which had stayed with me from the age of 12, because everyone who was put in that group was thought to be not good, and we actually used to call ourselves the remedial group. So I think that for me, one thing that I learned at school, and that I think is really important in life, is that you should never think about any limits to what you can achieve as an individual, and you should also never let anyone else place any limits on what they think you can achieve as an individual. And one of the fantastic things I see in all of the Nord Anglia education schools is that we have this mindset that there are no limits to what our students can achieve, and I think that's really important.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with the students at Wyndemere Prep?
I've visited Wyndemere Prep. I think it's a fantastic school in a wonderful setting. I think there are absolutely superb teaching staff there and support staff for the school. I've met many of the students while I was there, had the opportunity to meet many of the students and see their work, and I think that it's not just Wyndemere Prep becoming part of the Nord Anglia education family, but the Nord Anglia education family becoming part of Wyndemere Prep. And I think there's so many things that we can learn, so many fantastic things that are going on at Wyndemere that all of us in Nord Anglia education can learn from, that I think we're really looking forward to working together and to continuing the success of both of those organizations together, and all of the people in them.
Those are some great answers, and I'm sure they'll give our students some great insight into leadership here and being part of Nord Anglia group of schools. I know I'm excited to be part of a larger school community, and I'd like to thank you again, Mr. Fitzmaurice, for taking the time to interview with Reach a Student.
Thank you very much.